Hello, everybody. This is Rabi'a, the founder of Qalbumaryam Women's Mosque. I wanted to come to you today to talk a little bit about things that are very important right now. One of those being the COVID crisis. As Muslims, we have to really be very thoughtful about how we gather and who we gather with right now. The crisis is real. People are dying. People are dying in greater numbers than we could have ever imagined. This is a disease that has no cure. There is a vaccine in the works that may be ready by January. But while we're waiting, I encourage all of us to stay at home, to not gather. And although we miss it greatly, as I do, this is one of the sacrifices that we make for the greater good. We have to protect the most vulnerable among us. That is our elders, that is those that may have pre-existing conditions, and that is the very young and the pregnant moms. We have to stay away from conspiracy theory and look at solid science. The solid science teaches us this is a highly communicable disease, which means it spreads very quickly and very easily, especially in gatherings. That includes restaurants, mosques, homes, parties, all of these things. We have to put a lot on hold. But I believe what Allah is teaching us right now is patience. Not just patience, but also how we care for one another in community. We care best for each other by not succumbing to the pressure to feel that we only can pray in a mosque setting. God is everywhere, omnipresent. God is wherever we are. So if you must pray at home, understand that your prayers are the same, that they reach God's ears the same. They have the same power. Don't get confused, and don't let people talk you into putting yourself at risk. Presently, Qalbumaryam is closed. We are closed because there is no safe way for a large number or even moderate numbers of people to gather. We have to mirror, we have to be the example to everyone else how to do this. We could do this really well. And understand that plagues come to this planet on a regular basis. If it's not polio, it's measles. If it's not measles, it's the Spanish flu or the bubonic plague. We have always had these situations on this planet. This is not the first time. It won't be the last. Heed my words. It won't be the last virus that plagues us. With bacteria, we could take an antibiotic. With a virus, there is no antibiotic. And that's why they struggle with the cure. There is no cure. The only thing we can do is be patiently waiting for a vaccine. It is up to you and your family to decide if you will take the vaccine and when. In this case, be cautious, but also be proactive, understanding that if you don't take the vaccine, you remain vulnerable. You want to keep your family safe. You want to keep the community safe. There are outbreaks in certain communities. We know in the African American community, COVID has taken many lives. We know that in the Latinx community, COVID has taken many lives. We can speculate on why that is, but beyond speculation, we know one thing for sure, that it spreads where people gather. And so therefore, it's very important to simply stay at home. One of the other things I wanted to discuss today with you is, where is Qalbumaryam going? Unfortunately, in these COVID times, it's very hard to predict exactly where we are going to be next year. Also, given that rent is very high and we'd have to rent a space, we've been very fortunate. And I'd like to thank Star King School of the Ministry for the year and a half that it allowed us to use its space to grow. And grow we did. We met every Friday, and we had many different speakers giving the Khutbah. It was a wonderful and very precious environment where women, men, all people could thrive. We allowed all sects of Muslims. We allowed different Abrahamic faiths to come and speak, because a Khutbah, a Jummah, is a place of learning. Most importantly, it is a place where you come, you learn, and you leave enriched with something that you can grow on once you're no longer in the presence of others in the mosque setting. Whether or not you feel it's proper or correct to pray in a mixed setting, put that aside. Who you pray next to is not important. It's who you're there to pray to that's important. How you dress is not important. It is how you comport yourself around everybody, to be kind, to be loving, to be accepting, and to affirm the fact that we're all coming together for a common purpose, and that purpose is to lift up our prayers and our worship to the Most High God. Can women give a khutbah? Who gave one of the first khutbahs as a woman? It wasn't Waraka. It was actually Zainab, when she spoke in Yazid's chambers. She gave a most powerful khutbah, and she gave it to men, in front of men, on behalf of men, and no one argued that she didn't have the right to speak except Yazid. We have to remember that even in the Torah, which is one of the 3 holy books that is recognized by Islam, that there are women prophets. There always have been women prophets. If there can be a woman prophet, there most certainly can be a woman imam. We have to celebrate the fact that women have throughout history been a part of the growth of religion and have been pillars in religion, even though they mainly go unrecognized unless they're the wives of. We have to remember that God created women in the same frame that He created men, and that is imperfection of mind, brain, body, heart. That women have the same intellectual and spiritual capacities as men. If you hear the truth coming from a woman, it is the truth that we're focused on, not that it comes from a female body or from female lips. We have to remember that the focus is worship. The focus is God at all times, not us, not who sits next to you, not who leads a prayer, but the focus is God. God hears all of us equally. God hears all of us based upon our personal relationships that we have forged with the Most High. Try to step away from your prejudices. Try to step away from cultural overlays onto religion. Women are a part of the Ummah. Women are important parts of our lives. We are not less than, We are not more than. We don't have supernatural powers over men's bodies. In our presence, everyone is equal. If you fear somehow that women can lure or affect men's ability to pray, then rather than question the woman's presence, question the man's ability to focus and to have intention during his prayers. We all have the options of preparation for prayer, and that means to get our minds and hearts in the right places before we enter into the throne room of God. If you enter into worship and you're worried about what's on the walls, what's on the floor, what someone is wearing, whose hair is showing, I question if you're prepared and ready to be in the presence of God. Don't worry about what I do. Worry about your relationship with Allah. As time goes on, the mosque will grow. The movement will grow. Women's mosques are popping up all over the world. In fact, women's mosques have existed in China for thousands of years. But let me talk about an important difference. There's women's mosques that hold services where women give the khutbah, do the call to prayer, and women assemble to pray. That's a women's mosque. On the other hand, Qalbumaryam prides itself on being the first entirely inclusive mosque. That means that anyone, male or female, can give the khutbah, that anyone, male or female, can do the call to prayer, which means anyone who is of the Abrahamic faiths and subscribes to any of the three holy books, the Torah, the Psalms, the Quran, or the Injil, can give a khutbah. We have to move away from prejudices. We must move away from age-old ideas about who people are and focus our minds and our hearts on justice. As the Quran tells us, practice justice, even if it means offending and moving away from what you've always known and held to be true. Why is justice so important? Because justice has many arms. Justice has many aspects. Justice is love. Justice is peace. Justice is inclusion. As we move forward into 2021, let's be mindful that segregation has never worked. Segregation has always had a nefarious base, and that is that somehow one group of people, be they male or female, black or white, is better than the other. We know that in God's kingdom, we are equal. We are all equal. As worshipers of God, lovers of God, we are all equal in God's eyes. Therefore, we have to grow and move beyond prejudices and old-fashioned ideas about segregating genders. Women have a lot to offer. Women are equally as intelligent and able as men. As we move forward into 2021, also remember those who are less fortunate. Throughout the COVID crisis, throughout the winter, through the rain and the snow, we have a homeless population around us. Those of us who are lucky enough to have homes to go to, beds to sleep in, we have to stop and pause and think about those who are less lucky than us. How do you help? Think about it. Do you have extra blankets and coats? Do you have extra socks and shoes? Perhaps you have meals that you've prepared that didn't get eaten. You don't have to be afraid to go and feed people and clothe people and inquire. One of the things I've always practiced when I've entered a homeless encampment is to ask people's names. This gives people the feeling that they are seen and that their voices are heard. One of the worst things that can happen is for us to lose who we are because of our circumstances. I'd like to also suggest that during the sheltering in place, that we turn fully to God, that we do our prayers, that we read our religious books, that we read the Quran, and that we study. This is a wonderful time to sit down and study, uninterrupted perhaps. In the case of families with children, you can include the children in your study. There are ways of sheltering in place and making it a wonderful time. Yes, it's stressful to have children home all day. Yes, it's stressful to not have income coming in. Yes, it's stressful to worry about who's going to be next to succumb to this horrible, horrible virus. While we don't have a cure for it, a vaccine is being developed. Start thinking about taking the vaccine. Research it. Rely on solid science and not conspiracy theory. We've always had plagues. We will have more. COVID won't be the last. It's the nature of existence that virus and bacteria and other things live among us. And sometimes they become our foes. But thanks to science, we have tools to fight back. In the meantime, our basic and most important tool is to protect ourselves, protect our young, protect our elders, and protect our communities by wearing masks, washing our hands, by being very careful where we gather and who we gather with. Qalbumaryam right now is in transition, mainly because we currently don't have a place to meet. However, I promise you that I will continue to make videos. I will continue to try to be accessible via email, via phone, and via the website. Please be patient with us at this time. And please make a commitment to join us. Qalbumaryam stands for inclusion. Qalbumaryam stands for growth. Qalbumaryam stands for today's people living in today's time, which is a strict reality. Qalbumaryam asks women to take your place in the world and in the worship arena. Learn to give a khutbah. Learn to recite prayers. Learn, because this is not just a realm of men. It is also, as God created it, a realm of women. I thank you for joining me today. And it's my hope to continue to come to you and to share and to talk with you and to give you my face and my voice and this lovely surroundings. I do wish it was really mine, but it's virtual. But just enjoy your life right now and how precious it is to be alive in a time where we have so much thanks to technology. But technology can't do everything. I can come to you virtually right now, but I can't sit and pray with you, okay? But one day we'll all be together, as the song says. I would like to ask anyone who feels drawn to volunteering or who feels like they'd like to meet and have gatherings when it's safe, please contact me via qalbumaryam@gmail.com. Send me letters of support. I need your support. We don't need money. We need your prayers and support because our growth depends upon you. The idea, the discussion around gender equality, around feminism, around all these things has to go forward and will go forward. We'll be discussing important things like domestic violence, about women in the workplace, about hijab, wear it or not. Support those who do, support those who don't. Do we want to engage with each other in a healthy way or an unhealthy way? Personally, I get a lot of communication from people who don't know how to communicate in a religious, holy, healthy way. The idea of a women's mosque and a woman being in charge of a mosque triggers a lot of hate and a lot of anger. I don't come from a place of hate and anger. I come from a place of love. I love my Muslim brothers and sisters, and I love the Lord, but I also love all of God's creation, and that includes everybody in it. And I believe we are called, as people of faith, to love everybody and to take care of everybody. As Muslims, if you think you're special or better than any other faith, you're wrong. There's one God, and that one God has one requirement, and that is we love and care for each other on this planet. So I'll end this today, and please get in contact with me. Remember, Qalbumaryam at Gmail. Please, if you disagree with anything that I've said, if you disagree with the idea of a women's mosque or women leading prayer or men and women praying together, I got it. I've heard enough. Please do not email me to try and school me on faith. But please, if you can offer some support and love, please do. I'm looking forward to it. All of us right now are in crisis. And even though many of us may avoid getting the virus, so many have not. Many people have died from COVID. Many people are in ICUs right now with COVID. Many people of many faiths, they need our prayers. Please remember, as you pray your daily prayers, to do a dua for those who have died and those who are sick, and for those families who are mourning the loss of loved ones. Remember the people who have less right now. We are moving into Christian holidays, Jewish holidays, with Hanukkah and with Christmas. This is not the time to debate whether or not these are legitimate holidays or what we should involve ourselves with or what we should not. This is the time to stand in peace and solidarity with our Abrahamic brothers and sisters and with those who support them. Enjoy the holidays. I hope all of you had beautiful and wonderful Thanksgivings. And next year, inshallah, we'll be able to come together with our families, friends, and community in a safe way. Until then, practice justice, remember your prayers, read your scriptures, and love one another. Thank you.